What is going on, guys? It's Bruins Steel here, and welcome to this lovely Monday afternoon. And I'm on here, and it's been a while since I've done a Boston Bruins video. Just want to do a quick video for you guys. Obviously, I did a Celtics video yesterday, I believe. It was yesterday, yes, yesterday afternoon, and it's a lovely Monday afternoon. And yeah, I'm here to talk about the Boston Bruins. Like I said, it's been a while since I've done a Boston Bruins video. Obviously, the playoffs are going on, and the first round matchups are already over, and obviously the Boston Bruins season is officially over. And like I said, I have to make Bruins videos more often. It's like I said, it's been busy, obviously, with my life, and that's just that. Don't have the time to make videos, but just want to come on here to talk about the Bruins and obviously a lot of stuff that I may have missed. But obviously, this team had Bruce Cassidy as the head coach. We got rid of him. We hired Jim Montgomery, fired him, and then now we got Marcus Stroom, wherever his name is, as our head coach. And obviously, the the Boston Bruins had one of the worst seasons. They had one of their worst seasons last year. Last place to the Atlantic Division. Didn't make the playoffs for the first time in like forever. And obviously, into this season, rough start once again. This team, obviously, it's clear that this team is in rebuild years right now. They're in a rebuild phase right now. Obviously, losing those big names, obviously like Patrice Bergeron, losing Brad Marchand, and this is the man that's left. This is the man that's left, man. David Pasternak. That's all we have. Charlie McAvoy, obviously, and then we got some new faces on this team. Jeremy Swayman. I feel for him. He's a great goaltender. I love Jeremy Swayman. That's just him. And talking about this Bruins team, they had up and downs. Obviously, like I said, they're in a rebuild phase right now, and that's just fine because it's been a while since this Bruins team been in a rebuild situation. Obviously, this team has been dominating. Obviously, well, not dominating, but you know what I mean. Obviously, it's the same team. Can't beat the Florida teams. Obviously, Tampa Bay owns our ass. Florida Panthers own our ass. But talking about this playoff series, going into the postseason, we're the wild card. We were the wild card number one spot where we took on the number one seeded in the Atlantic, the Buffalo Bills. The Buffalo Sabres. Wow, sorry about that. The Buffalo Sabres. But all I can say is the Bruins did lose. They lost the series in 6 games, and it was terrible. The home record in this series was terrible for us. Couldn't win. Couldn't win a single home game. Games 1 and 2 in Buffalo. We split that series. We split those games with Buffalo. Games 2 and 3 in Boston. Just terrible, terrible. Game 3 and 4, actually. Sorry, game 3 and 4 in Boston, absolute terrible. Game 6, we were. It's just terrible, man. This team cannot win at home. The home record is just insane. Um, like I said, talking about this series against Buffalo, obviously game one, we had a 2-0 lead, and just in that third period, we just collapsed. Buffalo was 3 goals in the span of 4 minutes, and we lose 4-2, I believe, or something like that. You're down 1-0. I was like, we should have won that game if we could have stopped them. We had the momentum. Look, Buffalo didn't really play the best 2 games at home, games 1 and 2, but they came out of nowhere in that third quarter in game one. Like I said, the Bruins had a 2-0 lead going into that third period, and Buffalo just they just capitalized. They just, man, 3 goals in the span of 4 minutes. They end up winning. I think it was like 4-2 or something like that. Buffalo takes a 1-0 lead. Game two was a little bit better for the Bruins. We're in that same situation going into the third, up 2-0. And then eventually, We did end up winning 4-1, 4-2, or something like that. They almost came back again, and I'm like, oh my god. But thankfully, we hold on, tying the series at 1. Game 3. Game 3 and Game 4 was just absolute, just horrendous. I believe one of the games we got absolute destroyed. I think the other one, it wasn't overtime. It was just a low scoring game. I think it was like 2-1 in game 3 or something like that. Game 1, game 3, I think it was game 1. And I know that we got our asses kicked in one of those games. It was like 6-1, 6-2. Holy moly. Um, but yeah, after that, we were down 3-1 in the series. And I'm like, oh, it's going to be over. Game 5, obviously we fought for our life in Game 5. They were actually up. They were actually up, I believe. Were they up like 2-1 or something? I don't remember. I think the Bruins were up 1-1. I know Game 5, David Pasternak was the overtime goal. Beautiful goal. And I know there was fans talking about on social media about like if David Pasternak was all sides or something like that. But David Pasternak with the overtime goal, sending the series back to Boston in Game 6. And I'm like, wow, okay, maybe we have some light. Maybe we can force a Game 7, but no. We fall short. David Pasternak gets another goal in Game 6. But it was just too much for us to handle. The Sabres, man. Obviously, this series, man, reminds me a lot of the series back in 2017 when the Bruins lost to the Ottawa Senators in 6 games. You see this team not winning a home playoff game in this series, and looking back to 2017 against the Senators, they split the first 2 games. Game 3 and 4, the Senators beat us. Game 5, we survive in double overtime, and then Game 6, we lose again at home. This Buffalo series reminds me a lot of the 2017 series in the first round when we played the Senators. Same outcome. Can't win a home game. It's terrible, man. Like I said, it's just how did this Bruins team make the playoff? Obviously, this team wasn't that wasn't great. It wasn't a great season. I mean, like I said, last season was terrible. This season was a little better, but not enough. Um, but obviously, losing to Buffalo, no shame, right? But let me talk about Buffalo real quick. You got to give credit where it's due to Buffalo. This is a team that haven't made the playoffs for 14 years. They haven't won a playoff series since the Great Depression, like 19 something. I mean, kudos to Buffalo, man. They just changed the game. They just changed the game right in our faces. This team was just like on fire this season. And to think that this is a team that hasn't made the playoff for 14 years. I mean, the last time the Buffalo Sabres made the playoff was 2011. I believe Buffalo played the Bruins in the first round, actually. But, to think that this is a team that haven't made a playoffs in 14 years and to be one of the hottest teams in the league in the Atlantic and to win their first series against the Bruins, you gotta give them respect, man. Huge respect. No hate, man. That's a hell of a turnaround, man. That's just the thing. Like I said, last playoff series for Buffalo. Last time they won a playoff series, it was the Great Depression in the 1900s. Like that's insane. Um, but give them respect. They deserve it. Buffalo, hell of a fucking team. They definitely deserve this moment. Give it to them. Bruin fan or not, I'm sad that they lost. But Buffalo Sabre fans, you definitely deserve this moment. Not making the playoffs for 14 years, turning your season around and becoming one of the hottest teams in the East, the Atlantic Division. Obviously, and it's just respect, man. You guys definitely earn it, man. Enjoy it. You guys enjoy this moment. Shout out to Buffalo. Congratulations on your series win. Good luck. The Montreal Canadiens, moving on to the next round. Holy shit. I don't like the Montreal Canadiens. I kind of was cheering for Tampa, but Tampa owns the Bruins, but that's just two Atlantic teams going at it. Canadians, they have finally avenged their, what was it, 2021 Stanley Cup matchup between that. Like we had Tampa and Montreal in the finals, I believe. Yeah, or something like that. Were they in the finals? I think they were. Um, but obviously, shout out to my friend Canadian Yorker, also known as Gene. He's a big Montreal Canadiens fan. I know he's happy that his Montreal Canadiens beat the Tampa Bay Lightning in 7 games. I mean, rivalry or not, that was a hell of a series. But obviously, shout out to Buffalo fans, the Sabre fans, the organization. Congratulations, you guys! Like I said, after 14 missed years in the playoffs, finally coming back and winning their first playoff series since the Great Depression. You guys definitely earned this win, this moment. Celebrate. You guys definitely earned it. Um, but for the Bruins, like I said, they're in the rebuild phase right now, and who knows? They got to make some changes. Obviously, I don't know, but not having the old school players on this team, like I said, those big names that were on this Bruins team, Patrice Bergeron, Chara, Nathan Horton, all those guys, Brad Marchand, David Krejci. This team was unstoppable back in those days. But now, David Pasternak's all that's left. He's definitely. I think David Pasternak's gonna come back. Obviously, Charlie McAvoy. They could definitely make. Going into this season, because we got rid of Brad Marchand, there was no really a captain assigned. So I can definitely see David Pastrnak getting that captain role next season. Obviously Charlie McAvoy as the assistant captain, obviously, and I don't know who else could get it. There's usually two alternate captains roles, but the rebuild for this team is just started, and obviously, that's just that. But anyways, I'm not gonna talk too much about it. Definitely want to do more Bruins videos later on, but obviously, it just hurts to be a Boston fan. This week, fuck the Red Sox. I don't give two craps about the New England Patriots. Um, but I'm talking about being a Bruins fan and being a Celtics fan, because in the span of 14 hours, the Celtics, I did my videos. The Celtics choked the 3-1 series lead, first time in franchise history, losing in the first round, and now the Bruins lost. Obviously, the Bruins lost, and then the Celtics. So that's just a span of 14 hours between 2 days. So bad week for me, obviously, but that shit happens that shit happens in professional sports. You never know. But like I said in my Celtics video, the Philadelphia 76ers earn that respect. They definitely earn that series win, and respect to them. But Sabres fan, enjoy this win. Congratulations. Like I said, you guys definitely deserve it. It's just it's just great. It's just crazy to think that this team, the Sabres team, was so bad, and for 14 years not making the playoffs. To think the Sabres team was so bad, and then just like that, they just turned their team around, rebuilding their team, and now becoming one of the hottest teams. Man, respect, man. That just takes guts to do. Obviously, um, but respect, man. That's just it. That's the thing in sports. But anyways, I'm Bruin Steel. Thank you guys for watching this video. If you haven't done so, subscribe, like, comment. But anyways, I'm out of here. See you guys later. Peace.